So you got a credit card with points, or you're looking for a credit card that can give you a lot of rewards, but maybe you don't know what points do and how to actually redeem them well. Well, that's what we're talking about in this video today. And make sure you stick to the end of the video, as I'll go over a step-by-step process on the best ways to reap these points rewards. Hey there, welcome to Venture with Jazzy. On this channel, I talk about personal finance and some credit card benefits. If you like the video, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing. The first step all starts with getting the right credit card. To get the right credit card, you'll want to start by examining your typical spending habits. Do you like to dine out a lot? Do you drive a lot? Or do you shop at specific stores? Or even, are you a subscriber or have a membership to a gym or multiple things like a Netflix? You'll want to understand what your typical spending habit is, because that will help you to choose which credit card that targets a certain category. And sometimes this might mean that you'll need more than one credit card. For example, some credit cards target dining categories, while others may target just gas. And in my lifestyle, I generally use the Capital One Venture X credit card for my everyday purchases, because that gives me 2 times the miles for every dollar I spend. And then in categories like dining or even just paying for my rent, I like to use the Bilt MasterCard because I get 3 times the points on dining, and then for rent I get a point for every dollar that I have to spend. So these are just the 2 cards that I typically pull out, but then there are people out there who pull out multiple credit cards or have different credit card choices. But as you can see, by planning out which credit card to use for certain categories, that will make sure that for every dollar that you're spending, you know that you're reaping maximum point rewards. And in addition, you can start applying to more credit cards, take advantage of those welcome bonuses, and then you'll hit the points jackpot. And then a bit of a disclaimer, of course, with these credit cards, you're not actually getting free flights, as when you are spending money, you are getting points. So I'm just saying, don't buy anything just because you want to earn points, because that's not worth it. Now let's talk about what to actually do with your points. Once you have redeemed a substantial amount of points, or it doesn't have to be substantial, just enough to get what you're trying to get. One option is to convert your points into cash back, and for some people this could be favorable because it's a lot more flexible to actually use cash for what you're trying to buy. And then on the other hand, you can use your points to book things like hotels, flights, or cruises. And the thing is, to get the most out of your points, you do want to examine the cent per point value. This is kind of a calculation that we travel hackers like to use, where we divide the amount of cash we'd have to pay by the amount of points, and that kind of tells you for every point, this is the cash value. So if there is a higher cent per point value, then that kind of indicates that it's more valuable to use points versus paying with cash. Now in this video, we could probably go a little bit deeper on how to strategize and redeem these points, but I wanted to give a high-level view just so then there's not so much rambling and you can quickly get the idea. So this is my step-by-step process on how I typically get flights or hotels on either using cashback or points. Step 1 is to determine your destination and your time frame. So you do want to be a little bit flexible with your time frame if possible, because if you fly out on Tuesday, maybe that will be significantly cheaper than flying out on Sunday. Or if you need to extend or make the trip a little shorter, that can greatly reduce the cost. It also depends on when you fly too, because if you fly out during Thanksgiving, that can be a lot more expensive versus flying out on low season, maybe in September. Then the second thing I do after I've decided which destination and around when I want to fly, then I go on Google Flights and then I do a quick scan on what the prices look like, when are the cheapest dates to fly, and then I jot down which flights and which airline are the best ones to choose from. And then during this step, you may want to consider whether you'll want to fly on a long haul trip with multiple stops, or you want to make sure that it's a direct flight. You'll want to keep this in mind depending on what type of traveler you are. The next step after you wrote down the different types of airlines that are best to choose from and the dates, next you can go take a look at your credit card travel portal. That is, if you have one. Sometimes these travel portals may have a greater deal versus going on Google to see the normal cash prices. So in this way, you can kind of calculate what are the cheaper deals and then also what the points value are on these flights. And then step 4, what I do is after I have an understanding of what my travel portal offers and then what type of airline is typically cheaper, then I actually search on these airline websites and I see what the cash prices are and what the points offers are. Now during this step of the process, you'll want to check if this airline is part of your credit card's travel partner program. And if they are, sometimes you can actually transfer your points from your credit card onto this airline. You'll only want to do this if this makes sense, and a lot of times it can make sense because sometimes the points value is actually higher on this airline's particular website versus somewhere else or on your travel portal. And as an extra tip, you should keep an eye out for these airline special promotions. Sometimes you can get a transfer bonus just by transferring your points from your credit card to this other airline. For instance, I've seen even 100% transfer bonus, so that's like doubling your points, and that can really help you to even get flights such as business class. So that's a very high level view on how I typically decide whether I should be using points or cash. Of course, sometimes using points doesn't make sense because the cash value is almost the same as the points value, so it really depends case by case. The main idea is I hope you get a lot of value on the points that you're making, and hopefully you can get some more travel out of that. And then of course, it's not just flights that I use points with. You can also book points with hotels or even cruises. I've actually not yet used my points on a cruise. Maybe sometime down in the future I could do that. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Also, thank you all so much for getting 1,000 subscribers. This is a huge milestone in my channel. I've only been here for maybe 5 months now, so it's pretty nice that I do have some supporters out there. So I thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.